Hi, my name is Demira Shabazz, and I'm presenting for Professor Heidi Kamenicki's speech class. This is my persuasive speech, and my topic is Going Green. Today I want to share with you a story before I begin. As a child, I traveled a lot with my father, who was a minister. He used to go on many peace-giving missions. But I'll never forget the time we visited a village. And it's a village that we had visited on previous occasion. Well, in the village was a lady who was a mother of many children. And in fact, she was like a mother to the whole village. The woman's face was very familiar. Like I'd seen her in that village before, but something was different about her. It had appeared as though she had been ravaged since the last time we met. Well, this time I watched in amazement and disbelief as her children danced around her, seemingly oblivious to her plight. It was very saddening. They just sort of ran and jumped around her. They abused her. They discarded trash on her as if she was nothing more than a piece of furniture. Then one villager proceeded to bring in a baby to suckle from her bosom, as she barely had enough nourishment and sustenance for herself. I watched silently in horror that day. And I did so until I could no longer contain my disdain, at which time I leapt from my chair, and I remember thinking, please stop. You're killing her. But no one cared. Sure, they all took notice for the moment and sort of changed their behavior as if to quell my anger. But it was only temporary, because before long, they were at it again. I thought to myself, are they savages? I don't know. Are we? You see, the woman in that story was no earthly woman, but instead she was Mother Earth herself, and we are her children. Mark my words this day. Our ravenous consumption of Mother's non-renewable resources and our wanton disregard for her health and well-being will put us on the fast track to certain disaster. No one will be safe. And when it's over, no one will be left. They call it an extinction level event. Do I have your attention now? Good. Because today we are going to examine or take a look at these non-renewable resources, what alternatives can be used in their place, and how making small changes can make a big difference. So I'll begin today talking about non-renewable resources. And usually when we talk about non-renewable resources, we're talking about fossil fuels. Now, fossil fuels are so named because they were formed by the buried remains of animals and plants from millions of years ago, hence the name fossil fuels. These fuels cannot be replenished within a short amount of time and thusly are considered to be a non-renewable energy source. The U.S. Energy Information Administration's 2011 web article, Non-Renewable Energy Explained, lists the 4 non-renewable energy sources that are most often used. They are as follows: oil and petroleum products, which include gas, diesel, heating oil, and propane. And then there's natural gas, coal, and uranium, which uranium is used in nuclear energy. Now, as you may be well aware, the use of foreign oil has increased our nation's dependency on other countries to sustain our way of living and has put us in a state of crisis as the world's oil reserves are drying up. This issue was highlighted in a 2005 PBS web article called Auto Emissions and the Environment, which states, in the past 200 years, we have already used up that reserve. If current rates of consumption continue, the world's remaining oil will be used up in 40 years. Let me read that to you again. Let me give that to you again. If current rates of consumption continue, the world's remaining oil will be used up in 40 years. Staggering. The article goes on to say, right now, 2/3 of the oil used around the world powers transportation vehicles, and half of that goes to passenger cars and light trucks. Those are the vehicles we drive. Being conscious of our fuel use will help us to conserve resources for future generations, and that's according to PBS 2005. For many of us, and let's put this in perspective, for many of us, living the next 40 years, barring some extinction level event, is not only possible, but probable. When we think of that time in terms of watching our kids grow up, graduate, and obtain other milestones, significant milestones, then it becomes painfully clear just how dire this situation is. Now, in addition to the non-renewability aspect of some of these fossil fuels, some of them have a negative impact on the environment. These fuels, in order for them to work, they have to be burned for their stored energy to be released. It's in this combustion that releases emissions into the atmosphere. According to the Environmental Literacy Council's web article, Fossil Fuels, the primary releases into the atmosphere are sulfur, nitrogen, and carbon, which can be harmful to the environment. They can combine with water vapor in the air to form acidic compounds that create, yes, acid rain. Not to mention, burning fossil fuels release carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas that scientists believe is a key factor in global climate change. These emissions lead to unhealthy air pollution and destroy the ozone layer. But did you know that at ground level, high concentrations of ozone can be harmful? Yes, ma'am. According to a 2006 article by the American Association of Respiratory Care, ground level ozone is produced when sunlight combines with hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxide. These are two compounds produced by cars, trucks, factories, and power generating plants, and they're found anywhere wherever gasoline and diesel fuel, kerosene, oil, or natural gas are combusted. So not only is the burning of these fossil fuels destroying the healthy amounts of ozone in our stratosphere, but it is also creating harmful amounts of ozone in our atmosphere and in the air we breathe. That's right. In the air we breathe. Still got your attention? Good, because there's more. Now, as a nation, and indeed globally, we've talked about pollution and its causes extensively, but when we broach the subject, most of us rarely think of the indoor pollution. Sadly, indoor pollution is generally 2 to 5 times higher than the level of outdoor pollution. Unsettling thought. Did it just get a little bit harder to breathe? Me too. And while several kinds of indoor pollution like smoke or radon, carbon monoxide, etc., most of us have some sort of detection device to alert us of the presence of these things. However, I would like to briefly talk about another household or indoor pollutant, your cleaning supplies. That's right. Your cleaning supplies. We just assume that when we pick up our cleaning products and begin to spray away the dirt and clean away the dirt, that we are doing our internal environment a favor. But do you know how these products work? For example, did you know that most odor neutralizing air fresheners work by using a chemical that coats the inside of your nose and hinders your body from smelling? So it doesn't take away the smell, it just inhibits your body from being able to smell it. According to the Natural Resource Defense Council's webzine article, Hidden Hazards in Air Fresheners, a recent investigation of 14 common air fresheners by the Natural Resource Defense Council, the NRDC, found hormone-disrupting chemicals known as phthalates in 12 products. Now, phthalates are toxins that are known to interfere with hormone and testosterone production. Some even cause birth defects and reproductive harm. What we don't know can kill us. That's right. What we don't know can kill us. And that is why I felt that it was necessary to also honorably or not so honorably mention your household cleaning products. Still digesting that last fact? Feeling disgusted? Angry? Good. Now let's talk about what we can do. We may not all be millionaire moguls or billionaire heiresses, but we can make a difference. There is something to be said for the power of the consumer. So the first thing that you can do, the first thing that I want you to do, is support the good guys. Contrary to popular belief, there are some companies out there that care. And supporting these businesses will send a message to other businesses that say, we, the global citizens of Earth, will not allow you to continually and egregiously abuse and misuse the resources, the non-renewable resources of this planet. Your efforts may not seem to pay off at first, but I don't want you to get discouraged. You have to remember that these giant companies did not become giant companies overnight, and it may take equally as long for us to bring them back down to size. But don't give up. Instead, support those companies. Companies like Method, one of my favorite companies. I just recently did some work on them inside of a different class, and I found out about their company. Not only do I recommend that you support Method because they have wonderful products that work and they are environmentally friendly, but also their entire operation is sustainably carbon friendly or earth friendly, pardon me, and is a carbonless operation. That's a huge thing. Now, there are other companies like these good guys. There's a list of them at newsweek.com/Green Rankings US. I suggest everyone take a look. Find a company. Find a product that you use. Find a company. Support that. The second thing that I'll say that we need to do is break the cycle. Now, breaking the cycle starts with reform. Old standbys like reduce, reuse, recycle. This can be as simple as turning off the water when you brush your teeth or do the dishes. Also, using biodiesel where appropriate. Studies have shown that biodiesel is better for the environment because it is made from renewable resources and has lower emissions compared to petroleum diesel. It is less toxic than table salt and biodegrades as fast as sugar. The last thing you can do is get involved. The final step to making a significant change is to get involved. Contact your political representatives. Let them know that the time of the quiet citizen sitting idly by while they abuse the earth for their capital gains is over. Americans can no longer afford to pretend that our overindulgence and extravagant use of natural resources has no effect on our environment. In addition to the impending threat of depletion, our world is facing a global warming crisis due to greenhouse gas emissions. There has never, and I will repeat never, been a more pressing time to reverse the cataclysmic events we have set in motion. So here, as I leave you with this. We must reduce our carbon footprint on Earth. We must cease the voracious expenditure of our natural resources, and we cannot wait for someone else to do what we all know is necessary. Time and chance comes to us all. We can be either hesitant or courageous. We can swiftly stand up and shout, "This is my time and my place." I will accept the challenge. Thank you very much.